Hello there, I am that gamer guy back with another video, and this week I want to address some recent movie news. But first, let me address the very blonde elephant in the room. You may notice something different about me. If you follow me on Instagram, then you'll be well aware of this hair journey. If not, let me briefly explain. Don't worry, it's not for forever. I attended a few events this month where blonde hair was fitting, and I'd always wondered what I'd look like with blonde hair, and now I know. So we've addressed that. On to the main reason of the video. A couple of weeks ago I was made aware of some unsavoury news. Anybody that's been subscribed to me for a while, or anybody that knows me in real life, knows that I love the Oscars. I am an Oscars geek. Whilst I also follow various independent film festivals and award shows, for me the Academy Awards are the Super Bowl of film, and consequently a couple of weeks ago I was devastated to hear that the Academy are making two significant changes to the show. Firstly, the broadcast will be operating on a strict 3-hour runtime, and secondly, and much worse in my opinion, the Academy will be introducing a Best Popular Film award. Both of these changes are an apparent response to the ever-decreasing viewing figures of the Oscars telecast. Apparently last year's figures were down 20% on the year before, the worst they've ever been. So before I really go into my opinion on these changes, let's just consider what these changes actually mean. Firstly, the new 3-hour runtime. The Oscars can sometimes go on for 4, if not 4.5 hours, which means the Academy are going to have to remove as much as 90 minutes worth of content. Now the Oscars have plenty of between awards filler content. Some of it good, some of it not so good. I can cope with all of that going and just focusing on the awards, but that's still not going to be 90 minutes worth of content, which unfortunately means the Academy are going to have to choose to remove smaller awards categories. Now there are some categories that could be moved to the Oscars Technical Awards show, which is an entirely separate event. Categories such as sound mixing, sound editing and visual effects could be displaced quite easily, and ironically it's usually only the popular films that are nominated for those categories anyways, although it would be a bit of a kick in the teeth for the professionals of that field. My worry is that the Academy are going to choose to remove some of the more niche categories. I'm talking foreign language film categories, short film categories and documentary categories. For most of the nominees of these categories, the Oscars is the best promotional platform that they will have. I know I certainly don't watch as many foreign language films or documentaries as I would like to do, but when I see these nominees presented at the Oscars, I feel more inclined to watch them, and I would argue that that is the case for a lot of people. So without the Oscars' inclusion of these categories, it could threaten an already niche market. Now there are rumours that some of these smaller awards are actually going to be presented in the ad breaks and presented as a compilation towards the end of the show, and I personally would find that way more insulting. It almost diminishes those types of films as an art form. It's cutting them down and saying you are worth less. So now let's discuss the Best Popular Film Award. The proposition for this award is that the Best Picture category is going to be split into two: Best Picture and Best Popular Film. However, the Academy have suggested that these awards are cross-compatible. Popular films are eligible for the Best Picture category, and good films are eligible for the Best Popular category. Now, as of yet, we are unaware of what the Best Popular category will consist of. We don't know if it's going to be an Audience Choice Award type deal, or if the Academy themselves are going to be selecting popular films. And if it is the latter, then what constitutes popularity? Will it simply be the 10 highest grossing films of that year? If that's the case, then let's look at what would have been the nominees for 2017. Star Wars: The Last Jedi, Beauty and the Beast, Wonder Woman, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Spider-Man: Homecoming, It, Thor: Ragnarok, Despicable Me 3 and Justice League. Of those 10 nominees, half are superhero films. Of those 10 nominees, half are Disney-owned properties. And with Disney now set to acquire Fox, surely the Best Popular Film Award may as well just be called the Best Disney Film Award. The highest grossing Best Picture nominee of last year was Dunkirk, which was the 14th highest grossing film of 2017, $50 million behind the 10th highest grossing film, Justice League. And the Best Picture winner of last year, The Shape of Water, was the 46th highest grossing film of 2017, $150 million behind Justice League. So this talk of crossing over of awards is frankly bullshit, but let's ignore the money bias and focus on the awards themselves. Splitting the Best Picture category into two diminishes both sides. Best Popular nominees are popular but not good, and Best Picture nominees are good but not popular. And all of this, for what purpose? The Oscars gets a lot of hate from both sides of the film fan spectrum. On one end you have your borderline pretentious, independent and cult film fans. Their argument being that the Oscars panders to a certain type of film. Biopics, transformative performances and the like. And to an extent, I agree with this. There are perhaps too many films that have been nominated for the historical importance of their content as opposed to the craft of the film itself. But on the other side of the spectrum, we have the general moviegoer. The type of people that only go and see superhero films, action films, and shit comedies. And I know now I sound borderline pretentious. These people argue that the Oscars are quite simply boring. And that's because the types of films that these people watch are not present at the Oscars. And I'm not saying that you can't like both ends of the spectrum, but unfortunately, this end of the spectrum accounts for the majority of movie audiences. And for the last few years, it's been these people that have created undeserved hype into various superhero films being nominated for Best Picture. Last year was Logan, the year before that was Deadpool, and this year it looks to be Black Panther. And let's put things in perspective. Just because a film is good by superhero film standards doesn't mean it deserves to be nominated for one of the most prestigious awards in cinema. I've seen Logan, I've seen Deadpool, I enjoyed them, but they are by no stretch of the imagination crafted in the same way that The Shape of Water or Moonlight are. It seems that these people's genre film bias blinds them to the cultural importance of those films. In 80 years' time, will people regard Deadpool to be of the same calibre as Gone with the Wind? Unlikely. It will just be remembered as another superhero film, albeit one of the more enjoyable ones. But ratings are falling, and the Academy want to capture the attention of this demographic. And I think therein lies the problem. By including one category of films that the general audience watches, are the general audience more likely to watch the Oscars? Probably not, because they still have to sit through 3 hours of categories of films that they don't watch. What's more, when you look at TV ratings in general, including televised events, ratings are falling across the board. That is just the status quo of contemporary television. So as far as I can see it, this whole situation can only do more harm than good. As much as it hurts me to say, the Oscars are selling out. Okay, rant over. Those are my thoughts on the situation. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comments. And with that, I'll say goodbye. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more. If there's anything you'd like me to discuss in a future video, then leave your suggestions down in the comments. I'm looking forward to the 100th Academy Awards held at Disneyland and hosted by Ryan Reynolds. I hope to see you guys next time, but until then...
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a
fucking shit.